No.
You are essentially telling us that you would consider getting into the 2024 race.
Absolutely.
If anyone's concerned that Donald Trump might end up being the Republican nominee for president in 2024, don't you worry. His former national security advisor and well-known war hawk, John Bolton, will be there to save the day. He thinks he's the hero who can save us. Now, let's hear more from Bolton and what his plan is should it become more clear that Trump is in fact gonna end up being the Republican nominee.
Nearly 95% disagree that Donald Trump is more important than the Constitution. I'm afraid there are some who would stick with Trump on this. What does a candidate have to lose by appealing to 95% of the base of the Republican Party? I actually think most Republican elected officials in Washington disagree with Trump on this, but they're intimidated. This is the time where there's strength in numbers. The more people who tell the truth, the easier it is for everybody else.
So what do you have to see that would make you say, now is the moment that I am going to declare my candidacy?
I'd like to see Sherman-esque statements from all the potential candidates. If I don't see that, then I'm going to seriously consider getting in.
Okay, now look, I'm torn on this because on one hand, he's calling out the cowardice of the Republican Party, which is absolutely accurate. It would be nice if he had a moment of self-reflection and acknowledged the fact that he was also a Trump ass kisser until he realized that it wasn't really working out for him anymore.
Until he realized it got in his mustache.
Oh God, why? Why? But anyway, but the idea that he would be the one to save the country from a potential Trump someone else ticket, Carrie Lake ticket, I don't know, is laughable. I mean, it's just more of that unearned confidence that he does deserve to get a little bit of mockery for.
Yeah, so I'm totally torn on this as well for slightly different reasons. So number one, his percentage chance of winning is about -17%. Beyond zero. Like there's no way, no one likes John Bolton. No one in the right wing likes John Bolton, no one in the left wing likes John Bolton. The neocons love John Bolton, and mainstream media generally likes John Bolton, but no actual human being likes him. And so the neocons are the guys who want to start every possible war. And so why did he get particles in his mustache back in the days from Trump? Because he wanted to start a war with Iran and potentially other countries as well. So he kissed Donald Trump's ass to become his national security advisor, and it worked. Because there's still enough neocons within the Republican Party establishment. They're like, oh, you gotta get Bolton in there. Oh yeah, Bolton, oh yeah. And then he came in there and he's like, war, war, war. And so everything Bolton has said about Trump is true and can be verified, almost everything can be verified, right? On the other hand, Trump is more correct than Bolton is on foreign policy. Now, don't get me wrong, Trump's not a peacenik, as some ridiculous people say, he increased drone strikes, etc. But Bolton's a bigger warmonger, which is not popular anymore on the right in the grassroots. Was never popular on the left, so that's why he can't get any voters. But the reason why I don't mind him running is because he's kind of a vicious guy. So at least there'd be one person in there who isn't afraid of Trump and who is constantly telling you what a prick he is and all the terrible things that he does. I don't know that helps. It depends on how he does it. If he goes to the Democratic way of doing it, oh, isn't he such a racist, sexist, bigot, whatever?
No,
it's not gonna work. No. But Bolton's unlikely to do that. He's a savvy guy, whether you like him or not.
Now I'm actually, like I think it's fascinating. I'm interested to see how he would carry this out, right? Yeah. Because look, I mean, you're right. Everyone in DC is self-interested and they are motivated by incentives and disincentives. Every single person. I don't care what anyone says, with the exception of maybe one guy, and that's Bernie Sanders. But overall, they're motivated by incentives, disincentives. Someone like John Bolton, who I haven't looked this up, but I would speculate that he's doing well for himself working for private defense contractors, maybe he's lobbying. He's gonna be fine. He doesn't need a career in DC as a politician to succeed. So that means he's kind of untethered to loyalty to Trump or any Republican or any politician really, right? So he could, if he wanted to, go after Trump pretty aggressively in the Republican primaries. Would he do it? Maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
To your point, Anna, John Bolton has a permanent seat ready for him at a think tank to pay him a ton of money.
Exactly.
Why? Because he's in favor of every war. So defense contractors are going to fund think tanks to hire people like John Bolton,
right.
And especially Bolton because he's the biggest proponent of war. So he's covered there, and he doesn't have to worry about risk so much, right? And so there's a secret part of this news story though that we still haven't gotten to. Let me do it. That's Bolton saying Republicans in DC are worried DeSantis isn't going to run.
Ooh, twist.
Because if DeSantis is going to run, Bolton and everybody else is going to coalesce around him. But Bolton is going on TV and saying, I might run. And man, Bolton knows he has no chance of winning. I don't think he's that delusional, okay? I think that what he would be doing here is basically a political version of a suicide bomber, where he goes in and says all these things that are true about Donald Trump, knowing that Republican voters are gonna hate him, but at least he's getting you the truth about the guy and maybe peels off enough of a percentage that it makes a difference, right? But he wouldn't do any of that if DeSantis is in the race. He wouldn't be necessary. This is him saying, I don't think he's coming in. And so all those big establishment Republicans who were talking after the midterms, oh, Trump's killing the party, we gotta get rid of Trump. Now it looks like they're going back into their shell. It looks like DeSantis is a coward and they don't have a champion to fight against Trump anymore. So they're left with the remnants like Bolton.
Look at Cenk identifying the nuggies that everyone else missed.
Thank you.